Drawing from the recent BRICS Summit held in Durban, South Africa, member states reiterated that despite the global financial crisis, Africa remains the last economic frontier. ABN's Laban-Cliff Onserio takes a look at the economic growth potential of Kenya.
The results of a recent meeting by Kenya's central bank monetary policy saw Kenya's CBR rate unchanged at 9.5%. Uncertainty in Kenya's economic outlook brought about by the Eurozone crisis was the main reason for the unchanged rate. So what impact did this have to Kenya's investor community?
It actually didn't have as much of an impact here. I think there was some effects felt here, but I don't think it was anything like it's been felt in other parts of the world. I think that the economies here have largely been built, or very broad-based economies.
The African economy has now matured, and with also interest from the Far East Asia, we have got options that the economy in Kenya has got various options. So they're not relying entirely on what happens in the Eurozone.
During Kenya's election period, the stock market experienced over 70% of foreign investor participation, and the shilling averaged at 87 shillings against the greenback. The peaceful election was a testament to the world that the country is ready for investment.
You know, it has been a very quiet period over the last month. You know, some business certainly around the elections. We all knew what occurred the last time around. We were here then, and I think that we're hoping that things pick up. It was more just real quiet versus any sort of reaction. I think people were being very cautious, but I think that Kenya has shown them what a difference the Constitution has made, and that everybody wants peace and they want prosperity.
I think that the prospects for Kenya is going to be very great, considering that now we are going to go through the devolved government, the county governments, and every county government is going to try, and every governor in county government wants to make sure that there's great economic growth and development within their counties. And with that happening in the 47 countries, it is definitely going to give impetus to the economic growth of Kenya.
Tourism, agriculture and ICT are the sectors identified to propel Kenya to economic heights. Despite all discoveries in the country, these sectors continue to contribute double-digit figures to the nation's GDP.
If Kenya becomes what it used to be, which is a breadbasket in the region, what it would mean for agribusiness to orient itself towards China, towards India, and this is just agribusiness. You've also got to think about these new markets where you have newly enlarging middle classes as targets of tourism. So in the mainstay areas in which Kenya has traditionally made money, which is agriculture and or tourism, the orientation of BRICS portends great things for the future.
From the BRICS conference happening in Durban, South Africa, a sector that has been earmarked for growth is agriculture, saying that Africa has 60% of fertile arable land.
The BRICS countries and some other countries will come into Africa. There is need to mechanize agriculture more and more. And I think with more mechanized agriculture, there's potential to grow a lot of food that will fill the rest of the world.
If we invest in irrigation, if we invest in value addition, if we invest in bigger than small scale production, then you have the possibility that you can supply not just yourself internally, which has been a big problem in Kenya, but you're also able to supply in the region. Now you've got to think about economies like Nigeria that are supported wholly 90% by hydrocarbons. Kenya's economy is very diversified, supported largely by a big tax base. If the more emphasis we put on agriculture, the more possibilities we have of drawing farmers and people who make the money in this end of the market into the tax system.
The World Bank projects over 5% growth rate in GDP in 2013. However, despite the strong economic outlook, there are still challenges.
I think some of the things that we're failing is good political leadership. It's much better than many years ago. Secondly, and it's very importantly, is the increase in corruption. I think corruption has not gone down, it's going up. Corruption has been institutionalized, and it's not only government, it's even in the private sector. So if we can be able to tackle corruption through good political leadership, I think the rest Africa is on an upside.
Africa's combined average growth potential now stands at 5.5%. Kenya's inflation figures are now down to 4.1%, and despite the uncertainty in political arena and deemed Eurozone crisis impact, the country is set on a growth trajectory.
We don't think that this is going to be the last we see of issues in the Eurozone. And we're just focusing on what we're doing here. There's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of growth. We think that we're just sort of scratching the surface now.
Looking forward, I think the future is bright, and Kenyans have to embrace East Africanness, because there will be great value in doing so, and Kenyans have to look beyond our traditional partners of Western Europe, and not to look beyond them, to look not to push them aside, but to look wider beyond them, and to think what new opportunities are brought on board by China, more than import, what new opportunities are brought on board by India, Brazil, and how to engage more deeply with the rest of Africa.
The message to would-be investors still hesitant about Kenya is:
the time to engage in Africa is now. Kenya is the center of Africa, an incredible human resource, incredible findings in energy, geothermal and hydrocarbon, and there will never be a better time to be in this region. There will always be doomsayers about Africa, Kenya in particular, but we have proven them wrong in the past, and this is a very fundamentally strong economy. So the time to come in is now.